Sometimes, fear isn't found on a dark forest path, not in an abandoned house, not in a graveyard. Sometimes fear just stands beyond the 3 foot high wall of an office cubicle, slowly raising its head, looking at you without blinking, calling your name in a voice that pierces the silence of the night and reaches your soul. This is the story of that fear, one I've never forgotten, one you probably won't forget either. Alex's first day. I was 20 years old. Senior year of college was approaching, and before that, during summer vacation, I landed an internship at a small financial services company. The work wasn't anything special: data entry, Excel, checking, line by line. But at that age, even that seemed like a lot. The firm's name was Hawthorne and Bridges Financial Group. The name sounded big, but it was actually a small office tucked away on a downtown corner. There were 7 of us in total. We sat in cubicles in a long line. The cubicles were very low, with 0% privacy, meaning if you raised your head, anyone could see you. The first 4 or 5 days were a blast. Everyone was friendly, laughing and laughing, sharing lunch. Only the 7th intern, Alex, no one knew anything about him. He was a bit quiet. He didn't speak very loudly, and sometimes it seemed as if he was observing us all silently from a distance. At first, I thought he might be socially awkward or shy, but the reality wasn't what it was. First awkward moment. 3rd week. It's true. I was entering some data into the computer. My eyes were fixed on the screen. I could hear everything: the click of the keyboard, the hum of the printer, and Emily's laughter sitting in the distance. But suddenly, I felt as if someone was standing over my cubicle wall, watching me. That strange feeling, as if 2 eyes were piercing your neck. I slowly raised my head, and my heart literally stopped for a second. Alex's face was tilted down from the top of the cubicle. His eyes were staring straight into mine, absolutely unblinking, and a smile on his face that didn't waver at all, as if someone had plastered a smile on his face. I stepped back a little. He tilted his head and said in a creepy whisper, "Working hard, or hardly working?" His voice, as if it were coming out while rubbing his neck. Slow, long, and awkward. I laughed awkwardly, because laughing was easy. A little safe too, but he wouldn't stop smiling. For a full 7 to 8 seconds, he just kept staring at me. I said, everything okay?" He immediately, almost in shock, stood back up and walked away without a word. That day, for the first time, I felt something genuinely off about him. He just looks at you. A week later, this started happening every day. Whenever I was working quietly, a head would slowly emerge above my cubicle. First, hair appeared, then eyes, then that creepy smile. It had become routine, but the fear felt just as fresh every time. One day, Emily came up to me. Slowly, she said, "Alex looks at you in a very weird way." I asked, "You too?" He shook his head. "No, just you." He told me, "Today, when I was in the kitchen, Alex was standing there looking at your cubicle. Not at anyone else, just you." His words sent a jolt down my spine. The words he said, I got up to take a print. Alex was suddenly standing behind me, so close that his breath could touch my shoulder. I said, "What happened?" He said slowly, "You stay here late, don't you?" I was shocked, because it was true. I often worked extra hours into the evening. I asked, "Yeah, why?" He smiled. Then he said, "Don't wait, this building at night isn't what it seems." A shiver ran through my entire body. I burst out laughing. Funny. But there wasn't a trace of humor on his face. He was just serious, and scary. That night, after arriving home, I was about to fall asleep when the phone rang. Unknown number. I thought it might be a delivery person, so I picked it up. "Hello?" A few seconds of silence. Then, a voice. Slow, drawn out, that same creepy tone. "Ronnie!" It was Alex's voice. "Who is this?" I was terrified. Then again, that distorted whisper. "Don't stay there. They are watching." And behind me, a faint metallic laughter like someone walking on broken metal. I literally froze. The scariest thing? I had never given Alex my number, nor had any other intern. As soon as the call was disconnected, I heard footsteps in my backyard. Slowly, squeal, like someone stepping on leaves. My window faced the backyard. I slowly pulled back the curtain, and what I saw literally took my breath away. Alex was standing in my backyard, brightly erect, in the darkness, in the half-shadow of the porch light, his face toward my window, his smile wider than before. I picked up the phone in panic, shouted, "I'm calling the police." He just kept smiling. as if all this was giving him pleasure. Then he moved his head forward a little and said softly, "They're already here," and then walked off into the darkness, without making a single sound. The next morning I went to the office. Alex's seat was empty. I told Supervisor Martin that Alex was near my house last night. His face fell. He said, "We fired Alex last week. He wasn't coming to the office. We don't even know where he is." I said, "What? But he used to be here every day." Martin said, "No, he stopped coming 8 days ago." The ground slipped from under my feet. He'd been coming in front of me every day. He was smiling, peeking over my cubicle. If he hadn't been to the office in 8 days, so who was that guy peeking over my cubicle? What was that guy walking all the way to my house? Ever since Martin told me Alex had been fired, the atmosphere in the office suddenly became heavy. The interns were talking in whispers. Emily, if he wasn't here, then who was Ronnie looking at? Maybe he's lying? Maybe Ronnie is stressed? I remained silent. I couldn't understand what was happening to me. But one thing was certain. Whoever was in the backyard last night wasn't human. I asked Martin to check the CCTV footage of the office for the last 10 days. In the evening, he called me to his cabin. On his computer screen were footage from reception and the hallway. He played it from day 1 to day 10. All the interns were visible, coming and going, laughing, sitting. But Alex wasn't in a single frame. Not in the hall, not in the elevator, not in the pantry. But I saw him. I talked to him. He popped over my cubicle every day. Martin asked one last time, "Ronnie, are you sure you saw him here?" I didn't say anything. My words caught in my throat. For 3 days, no face appeared above my cubicle. No creepy voices, no stalking, no phone calls. I started to feel a little normal, but only 3 days. After the 3rd day, everything was ruined. And my real misfortune began that very night. I was finishing data entry. Everyone else had left. I was the only one on the floor. The lights were dim. The AC hummed in the background. Suddenly, click, a small light flickered from somewhere. I raised my head. A shadow stood in a distant cubicle. I froze. Then that shadow, slowly, started coming towards me. Sure, with every step, fear was seeping into my bones. I slowly said, "Hello? Who is it?" Shadow stopped. And then, "Ronnie." I pushed my chair over and stood. The voice, it was the same, Alex's. But that figure wasn't Alex. It was very tall. Unusually tall. As if someone had stretched the body. Its head was almost touching the ceiling. I started to back away. The figure leaned over the cubicle in front of me and peeked over it exactly the way Alex did. But this wasn't human. And then its neck, before my very eyes, twisted more than 90 degrees. There was a distinct snap sound. Its eyes were now fully on me, and its mouth slowly split to my ears. The same voice again. "You shouldn't have stayed. They don't like that." I ran to the window, but at that very moment, all the lights on the entire floor flickered on simultaneously, and they all went off. The entire building went dark, completely black, silent. I was alone. Or maybe I wasn't alone.